Geeks with beards, geeks with beards. Look who's here, geeks with beards. No need to fear, we're right here. We got beards, so listen clear. Geeks with beards, geeks with beards. Look who's here, geeks with beards. No need to fear, we're right here. I'm in your ear, so listen clear. No one else doing it like us. Also, we just might cuss, just cause. No, we ain't playing, and we're just saying, and we're making a podcast. It's cool.
I'm here to cut a deal. You want Falcone, and I got plenty on him.
Heads, I'll take it. Your father went into business with the Roman, and how many innocent lives did he end up trading for it?
Hello, everybody. This is episode 11 of the Geeks with Beards podcast. Today, we'll be covering the final 5 issues of Batman: The Long Halloween. What's been going on, Sean, since our last episode?
Lots of touring, and I think the only thing I've read is I read through some of those Ahsoka comics.
How are they?
Basically the show.
So it's a comic adaptation of the TV show?
Yeah, and I didn't know that. I should have did more research.
Okay. Well, you would think they would have put that in the solicitations or something, that it might have been what it was.
Well, they may have, but it just says Star Wars, so I signed up for it.
You're just like, yes.
Yes. So, but I guess the regular Star Wars books ended because I got the 50th issues for all the ones that just came out, and I'm like, all right. So I was going to check them, and then next month it didn't show any, so.
I'm kind of surprised that they're wrapping them up like that, unless they're getting ready to launch a whole new series or something.
That might be it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
What about you, man?
Watching a lot of Penguin on HBO Max. Great show. Got to watch the 6th episode. I haven't watched it yet. Just been reading a little bit of comics, the same old, same old. This last time I got a few good ones in. I finished off the Destro miniseries with issue 5. Really good. It's setting up that G.I. Joe comic coming out next month. I can't wait for that. I got issue 4 for Thundercats, Chitara miniseries. I think it's got one more issue. I think it's only 5 issues, I believe. And it's really good because, again, like I was saying, it's a kind of a prequel series of when it shows her when she was younger and everybody on Thundera before they had to leave the planet. So those 2 are the key ones out of this run of comics I just got. So
Sweet.
that's been about it. I was going to try to go watch the new Terrifier movie, but it didn't happen. I was on vacation for my birthday. As of this record, my birthday was last week. I didn't get a chance to go watch it, so I might try to go sit within the next week or so. If not, streaming. So
Fair enough.
or change it up and watch Venom 3, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I do want to see that.
We'll see on that one.
Trailer looked really good.
It did look really good, yeah. All right, let's get into it. Chapter 9, titled Father's Day. If we remember last issue, we ended it on Mother's Day, and Bruce was suffering from Scarecrow's fear toxin, and the law was after him. Harvey's whole thing about, are you connected to, Carmine Falcone and everything, so that's where we left it off. This one he opened up with a flashback, and we are at Wayne Manor. But who opens the door at this one is Dr. Thomas Wayne. So this is back when Bruce was maybe not a teenager, small kid, I guess,
So it's a flashback?
It is a flashback, yeah. And we get a knock at the door. And Thomas Wayne opens the door and wants to know who it is. And you find out that, well, you don't find out just yet. When he opens the door, he doesn't know who it is. But the person that's at the door says, I need you to save my son's life. He's been hurt. Then we find out that it's Vincent Falcone, Carmine's dad. And Carmine is the person who has been injured. We don't know exactly just yet what's happened to him, but he's been shot several times. So he shows up to Wayne Manor asking Thomas Wayne to save his life. Thomas basically asks him, he really needs to go to a hospital. He's lost a lot of blood, needs to go to the hospital. And Vincent Falcone says, no hospitals. He says, because you know who I am. If I go to a hospital, then Luigi Maroni will finish the job. And Luigi Maroni, we find out, is Sal Maroni's father. So apparently, even back a generation ago, the dads were already at war. These families had already been at war way before Carmine and Sal were, even top people. So Vincent tells Thomas basically having powerful friends can come in handy. And sometimes it's even better than having all the money in the world. Powerful friends can be. Thomas basically tells him, he's like, I'm not doing this for any kind of compensation. You know, my job is to save people's lives. That's why I'm doing it, no matter who you are. And Vincent looks at him basically and tells him, he's like, everybody wants something eventually.
Yeah.
And, you know, Thomas didn't really give it another thought. He just saves, you know, we ended that flashback with him taking the bullets out of Carmine. And of course, we know Carmine does survive because he's in the story now. We jump to present day, and Bruce Wayne is on trial. We in the courtroom. He's got Alfred up on the bench, and he's asking him questions about his relationship with Bruce and Carmine. And Alfred just flat out says, "There's not one. There's no relationship between Bruce and Carmine whatsoever." And he basically asks him, because he finds out about the whole thing with Thomas and Vincent back in the day. And Harvey asked him, he's like, "Well, why didn't Thomas report the crime? You know, why didn't he report, you know, that Carmine had been shot by Luigi Maroni? Because if he'd had, we could have ended this then. Carmine, you know, none of all the stuff that's been going on now might have not ever happened. You know, all the wars and everything like that." And Alfred basically says, he says, maybe, you know, maybe he did, but Gotham at that time was different, and the police and the district attorney's office was corrupt. So basically, he's like, maybe he did report it, and the cops was already working for the Falcones, and they just kind of shoot it under the rug, you know.
Yeah.
And then, and then he says, you know, then it was several months later that the Waynes were murdered after he had saved, you know, Carmine's life. He said, and he was, though the Waynes were the most decent people I've ever known in my entire life. They're the best people I've ever known. And he says, till this day, the killer's never been found. And then he kind of looks at Dent. He's like, maybe Gotham's not changed that much from back in the day. And I don't think Dent liked that, because Alfred's basically saying it's still corrupt. It's still not that honest with the police and the district attorneys. And Dent's like, wait a minute. You know, I'm not corrupt. Yeah, okay, Harvey. So then we jump to Sal Maroni, and he's going to visit his dad. He's going to visit Luigi. I guess Luigi's retired now. I guess he's not really part of the whole crime thing, but he's still got his fingers in it, kind of knows what's going on, you know. And Sal's wants some advice from his dad on how to handle Holiday and Carmine. And basically, Luigi looks at him, he's like, be a man. Be a damn man, step up, and handle it like the Maronis are supposed to handle business. And I think that kind of breaks Sal a little bit, because Sal kind of had that look on his face, like, no, Dad, that's not what I wanted. So Luigi walks away from him, and then we see, of course, here comes the hand and the gun, and Holiday has killed Luigi Maroni at his own home, like his own estate. It's like, how the hell did you get in there? You know, because you would think, even though Luigi's not part of active mob, you know, stuff, that he's still going to have bodyguards around him.
You think
He's
so?
still going to be protected.
Yeah.
You know. But Holiday got to him somehow. Kills Luigi. Sal, I guess he walked away from him or something because he wasn't around. And then you see Sal, he runs up and he finds his dad laying on the ground dead. And he's basically kind of cradles him, you know, holds him like that. So Holiday's getting a little bit more bolder. You know, he's going like to the top people now. You know, he's killing the father now, you know, Sal. And so then we cut to Sophia Falcone, and she's talking to Carmine, who's at home, and she's letting him know that Bruce was acquitted, that they found him not guilty of any kind of crime whatsoever. It took only about a minute and a half for the jury to acquit Bruce. And Carmine, he kind of didn't really shrug her off, but it's kind of like he's half listening to her. And he just tells her, he's like, look, I've got business I got to attend to. So it's like he listened, but he didn't listen. And, you know, then we go to Gordon. He goes home because, like I said, it's Father's Day. So he goes home, and there's a little present that is there for him, you know, from his family for Father's Day. It's a little necktie that was made by his son and his wife. And then we see that Harvey went to visit his father, and we don't get to see his father, so we don't know what he looks like or anything like that, but he goes and visits his father. Well, he's sitting in the basement, and he's playing around with something. And his wife shows up, and she says, how was your day? And he says, well, I went to visit my father, and basically tells his wife that he's still crazy. So I don't know if you know anything about Harvey's father from reading any Batman. I guess I don't know if he meant literal mental illness or if he was just being sarcastic. I don't know, but he said he gave me a coin. I was like, oh yeah, he did. He gave you a coin. And then Harvey starts kind of questioning Gotham City's justice system a little bit because he feels like Bruce is guilty of something, but he's questioning it because his peers found him not guilty. So he doesn't know if the Gotham City justice system is as good as he thinks it should be. I guess he kind of feels like he's a one-man person against everybody else because he feels in his gut that Bruce is guilty of something. Even though everybody else found him innocent. Then we find out that Scarecrow and Mad Hatter, we finally get introduced to Mad Hatter, Jervis Tetch, that we find out that Carmine had a hand in them escaping from Arkham. I'm like, well, of course he did.
Yeah.
He's worked with Ivy, paid her to try to get Bruce to do the whole money thing, and now why not? Let's go ahead. You done worked with one supervillain. Go ahead and work with a couple other supervillains.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Exactly. And basically, he's got him to break out of Arkham to hit the Gotham City Bank Depository to get basically get his money. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, okay, it's cool to see Tetch, Mad Hatter, because he's not one of those villains that I really ever got into a lot. I don't know if you ever got into him a lot or not.
I did, yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
I mean, he's okay. He played off, of course, on the Alice in Wonderland stuff.
That's the whole thing with him, yeah.
So I always did like him because he did a little bit of, I don't remember what animated series it was, but I remember he kind of got into the mind control stuff.
I believe it was the 90s, wasn't it?
Was it the 90s
Yeah.
one, I believe it was? He had like the cards, or
Yes.
he would do something with them, or the hats or something. So Bruce, he's talking to Alfred, and he's asking Alfred, he's like, what if my dad had not saved Carmine's life? He said, would it have changed the way things are in Gotham City? The crime, the violence, the death. And Alfred kind of just looks at him, he's like, there's no way your dad would not have saved his life. He's like, no matter who knocked on the door, that's just what your father was, who he was. He would have saved anybody's life, no matter who knocked on the front door.
It's acting like a Boy Scout.
And then Alfred kind of questions himself that if he had been a better sort of father to Bruce, would Bruce have turned out different? Would Bruce have become Batman, or would Bruce have been, quote unquote, normal person, I guess? So even Alfred is questioning, did he raise Bruce properly? And I think so. And from a lot of the iterations of stuff I've watched and read, I think Alfred did the best he could with Bruce. I mean, that's my opinion. I think Alfred did a really good job with Bruce.
Well, yeah, he's just a butler trying to raise a kid.
Exactly. I mean, he's trying to, if you go by most of the iterations, he was raising him from a child, and I guess he did have some responsibilities of Wayne Enterprises probably as well. I mean,
I'd imagine until he at least turned 18.
Till at least turned 18, yeah. So he had to take on responsibilities of running a business on top of trying to raise Bruce. So I think Alfred did okay. For a guy who just signed on to be a butler, I think he did okay.
In this iteration, he's just like a normal dude. He's not like an ex-military guy like they've portrayed him in.
Yeah, and I don't dislike that. I kind of like having that ex-military thing because it kind of explains how he would have been involved in training Bruce how to fight.
I don't know. It just throws me off sometimes.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay. Do they still do that now in the comics, I wonder? If he's ex-military?
We'll find out, because I picked up a bunch of Batman comics
Sweet.
this time.
Hell yeah,
so.
dude. We'll have to touch back on that one. Let me
Yeah.
know. We'll let the listeners know. So we get to Vernon, little old Weasel Vernon, Harvey's assistant. He gets Dent in his office in the middle of the night and says that Sal Maroni is there, and he kind of might want to help Dent out on the Carmine case. And basically, Dent's like, why are you bringing... Before Vernon tells him this, he's like, why are you bringing me out in the middle of the night? And Vernon's like, oh, Sal says Sal Maroni's there, and I believe he might be willing to help us out on the Carmine case. So that's where we end that chapter on a kind of a cliffhanger. We're like, well, why is Sal doing this? But later on, we'll find out. So we jump to chapter 10, and we jump to Independence Day, the 4th of July. And right off the bat, we open up with a murder. And this one kind of, I was wondering about this one until as I read on, I figured out what was going on. But this one kind of took me back a little bit because it opens up on the pier around Gotham Harbor, and you have a Gotham City coroner just sitting on the pier in his car, and then boom, Holiday shows up, kills him.
On the spot.
I'm like, why are you killing a coroner for? I'm like, Yeah, just boom, just kills him right there on the pier. And then we see Selena, her and Bruce are talking, and I think they're at Wayne Manor, I believe. Or are they not? I think they're at Wayne Manor, I believe. And she's basically asking Bruce, why are you staying in Gotham? What's here that's keeping you in Gotham City? Why don't you travel? Why don't you go somewhere else and live? And he does tell her, he says, I did leave after my parents' death. He says, but something drew me back to Gotham City. So he doesn't give her a definite answer. He's kind of vaguely answering her. He's like, something drew me back. And Selena basically just flat out tells him, she's like, look, I know places that we could go and things that we could do. Wink, wink. So I'm guessing with all of her burglaries and stuff like that, Selena's probably pretty well to do on her own at this time in the comic books, probably, isn't she?
Oh, she has to be.
I would think so. Maybe not Bruce Wayne wealthy, but she's pretty well to do, I'm guessing, from the way she's drawn as far as her dress goes and stuff like that. So we leave them for a little while, and we cut to Harvey, who is on top of GCPD, and he is signaling, got the bat signal going to get Batman's attention. And he's basically apologizing to Batman. It says he made a mistake going after Bruce Wayne, and that Maroni has decided to come forward and he's going to testify against Carmine Falcone. That he's going to basically turn state's evidence. And I'm thinking, besides Johnny Vitti, who was going to do it way back in the when, Sal's probably one of the only other people that has a lot of dirt on Carmine besides anybody working within the Falcone family. Maybe Carla. She might know a little bit, on her brother.
Makes sense.
And Batman's kind of just standing there, kind of just giving him this look. He's like, And we see while Harvey's talking, he's flipping the coin. He's constantly flipping out coin. I'm like, some foreshadowing there. Harvey's starting to flip that coin. So even before he became Two-Face, I think he was already starting to get dependent on the coin, or at least it was a coping mechanism from thinking. I believe
that's what I got from it.
Yeah, I think it's like he already was using it as a coping mechanism,
like modern day fidget spinners.
Yeah, kinda. I never could get into those, but. So we cut to Gordon, and Gordon is telling Batman and Dent that about the coroner being killed by Holiday. And of course, here we go. We got Catwoman. She's spying on him again. It's like every time these guys get together or Batman's around Falcone, Catwoman's got her little head popped up. Got some binoculars. Like she's always looking around.
Just like a freaking cat.
Just like a curiosity killed a cat, honey. So we cut now to the Gotham City jail, and Sal's in jail. Well, Sophia Falcone shows up, and she starts talking to Sal a little bit, and she kind of pulls him forward to the bars and gives him a kiss. I'm like, oh, wait a minute now. What's going on here? I thought she might was going to kill him for a second. But apparently, I guess they've had a relationship in the past, the way she was talking. Or have a relationship now, maybe. And she's telling Sal, she says that she went to prison for him at one point because she, I guess, loved him enough or whatever that she did not rat him out. And so, but Sal, he looks at her, but he doesn't say, well, thank you, honey, or nothing like that. He's basically, I guess, in his mind, like, well, yeah, you're supposed to. You're my lady. You're supposed to take the fall for me. So I guess when she got out of prison earlier in this story, maybe that's what she was in prison for, I guess.
Yeah.
Don't say what it was.
No.
But she did say that she did take the file for Sal, so he didn't have to go to jail. She continues and she tells him, hey, Dad knows. Carmine knows that Harvey had something to do with putting you in this situation. And that basically she tells Sal that if Dent's not in the picture anymore, everybody, they'll kind of lay off the families and the heat will be off. So she's basically saying, hey, Dad knows you would never turn on him unless Harvey, put some pressure on you. Like, bullshit. Bull crap. Sal would turn on Carmine probably with the flip of a coin. No pun intended. He probably would flip on him no matter what. So basically she's kind of putting in Sal's head, if you kill Harvey, it'll all go away. All the heat will go off the families. It'll all go back to normal. We can run this city all we want. But I'm sitting there thinking, okay, yeah, you get rid of Harvey, but you still have Batman. You're going to have a replacement DA. Unless you buy them off, they might not be as white knight as Harvey Dent is. But that's her thinking. So we cut to Harvey Harvey's wife. She's talking to Barbara, and that she's noticed that ever since Harvey's been on the Carmine case, that it's changed Harvey. It's kind of changed his attitude, and she feels like it's eating him from the inside out, and she's worried about him because she was hoping they would be able to be together and spend some time, maybe have children, But she said ever since he's been on this case, she just feels like it's turned him to the kind of person she doesn't like. And I can understand it. I think because he dives headfirst into his job. That's all he focuses on, is his job. We cut to Batman, and he's telling Gordon that Holiday has been able to get real close to his victims when he's killing them. I say he again, suggesting that he or she knows the victim. Gordon tells Batman, he's like, I've noticed you're able to get pretty close to people. I'm like, all right, Gordon. 2 strikes against you, man. You've already tried to basically kind of side-eye Batman saying, hey, Arkham City's been a lot fuller since you started being around here. Now, what are you trying to say? Are you trying to say Batman is the Holiday killer because he can get close? But it is a good point, though, he's making. That Holiday does seem he can get pretty close because we found out previously that it's a 22 caliber gun. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can get some distance on a 22 caliber gun. I've shot a rifle before, 22 caliber. But a handgun, you might need to get close and personal, maybe a little bit. But still, if somebody's pointing a gun at you, I don't know. Unless it's the shock of it, I think I would still try to run the hell away.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And I'm like, unless you get that frozen in fear thing. I get that too, maybe.
Deer in a headlight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've never had a gun put on me. Hope to goodness it never happened, so I don't really know what the feeling would be. So Batman discovers that Scarecrow and Mad Hatter are robbing Gotham City Bank Depository. And he finally connects it to Carmine. Kind of a light bulb goes off in his head. He's like, damn. Catwoman helps him out. And she flirts with him a little bit before, and he's like, I don't have time. Basically, he's like, I don't have time for this. I have to go. So we close on this chapter. He fights Scarecrow. He fights Tetch a little bit. They kind of put a little bit of a tussle together with him and stuff. Of course, they're not physically going to be able to beat Batman. So we close this chapter with Batman defeating Scarecrow and Mad Hatter, and he's standing over top of them as some fireworks and stuff is going off in behind him. So I guess it was a good Independence Day for Bruce.
It's improving.
And Catwoman basically, she kind of has a parting line that she says to him. It's something to the effect of, I guess that's the price you pay for protecting the city or something like that. And Batman says something to the effect of, no, that's the price for freedom or something. I forgot to write it down, but it's something like that. And I thought that was a good little line.
Yeah.
And while he's standing over top of Scarecrow and Tetch, he's kind of saying a little line there, So then we cut to chapter 11, Roman Holiday.
Ooh.
And it's a great picture in the book, too. I think it's like a big cake. I think it's Carmine's face is there and stuff. It's a really cool picture. So we open with Gilda, Harvey's wife, asking Harvey why he has a gun like the killer's on his workbench, because she's in the basement. It's one of those situations where I'm like, honey, you shouldn't be down in the basement. It's one of those things where Harvey's like, you never come to the basement. You stay upstairs.
Know your place, woman.
Yeah, well, yeah. Without saying that in so many words, I think that might be what it was. And Harvey just basically, boom, he's got an answer for her right there. He says it's evidence. So he's not denying that it's not Holiday's gun. He tells her, he says it's evidence. And he says, I always bring evidence home with me, with all my cases. And you see that Gilda questions that. She's like, always bring it home? She's been with him long enough. She knows like that's not true. Mm. He doesn't always bring evidence home with him. So yes, she questions that statement. And that's the first time I think she's questioned him through this whole story. She like I said earlier, she's had these feelings in her heart that she knows Harvey has changed as a person because of the Carmine case. But I think this is the first time she actually questions, are you lying to me? Are you telling me the truth or are you lying to me? Batman, we cut to Batman. And Batman in broad daylight too, I believe it is. I think it's in the broad daylight. He finds Riddler at a bar. Poor Riddler, he's drowning his sorrows, I guess. And he asked him, he's like, who's Holiday? And Riddler's like, why are you asking me who it is? He's like, well, you saw him or her, you saw them because they didn't kill you. They just shot at you, but they didn't kill you. So you had to have seen their face, what they look like. And Riddler looks at him and he's like, I don't know. I'm like, did he not know? I wonder. Because granted, when you see Holiday, a lot of times it's like a big coat and like a big hat. So maybe that hides the face, maybe, I guess. I guess maybe he legit didn't see him because it was nighttime. So
It's nighttime. He's getting a gun pulled on him.
that's true. And he just left Carmine's place, so he's probably a little scared, even for the Riddler. He's probably a little scared at
A
that
little
time.
flustered.
Yeah. So he tells Batman, he's like, I don't know. I don't know what Holiday looks like. So Batman's a little upset. I don't know if he believes him or not, but Batman leaves him alone. Carla Vitti, Johnny's mama and Carmine's sister, she's talking to Carmine and she's questioning him, why did you hire supervillains? Or she says freaks. Why did you hire the freaks? And Carmine just blurts it out. He just tells her, he says, you never question my decisions. I'm the head of this house. You never question my decisions. Carla's a pretty strong-willed woman. I don't think she appreciated that, kind of from the look she had in the book. I don't think she appreciated that. I think if anybody could stand toe-to-toe with Carmine in the family, it would probably be her. At least this iteration of her, I think. I think she's as strong-willed as Carmine is in the comic book. Even though we don't see a lot of that here, but I think you can kind of just tell it the way that she's drawn in the comic. So then we cut back to Maroni, and he's getting ready to go testify. And they've got him all shackled up and getting ready to head into the courtroom. Well, Vernon shows up to him. I'm like, you little son of a gun, you. So Vernon shows up to him, and he's like, hey, Mr. Maroni, don't forget your antacid for your ulcer. I'm using quotation marks, listener. Ulcer. Before going into the courtroom. And Maroni kind of looks over, and you see a bottle that does say antacid on it. But if we know anything about this, it ain't no antacid whatsoever.
I mean, it's half right.
It's true, it's half right. So Maroni goes into the courtroom, and Harvey's questioning him about various crimes, and he's wanting him to do like he said. He wants him to admit that Carmine was behind everything. All these different crimes that's happened over the years, these murders, all this stuff. And he keeps questioning him, asking him several different questions about different crimes and everything. And Maroni, he starts coughing. Well, it's a fake cough, but he starts coughing. And he goes and grabs for the bottle of antacid. Well, he throws it in Harvey's face. And if we've seen Batman Forever or different iterations of the character of Harvey Dent, we know what's happened. This will become basically the birth of Two-Face. Because what has happened is that Vernon handed Sal Maroni a bottle of acid or some type of chemical, hoping by throwing it in Harvey's face it would kill him. Or at least definitely hurt him bad enough to where he would give up, I guess, being the DA and everything, So he throws it in his face, and Harvey automatically just drops to the floor, holding his face, just grasping his face. And then, of course, everybody's jumping Sal, trying to knock him down to the floor and check on Harvey. And we cut to the hospital, and you find out everybody's outside waiting to see what's going on with Harvey, how he's doing. And the surgeon walks out, doesn't really say anything. Kind of falls to the floor, and you find out that Harvey stabbed the surgeon in the back. I don't know what the hell. And you find out that Harvey has escaped. So he survived the attack. But I guess this was the final push for him, of course, to become Two-Face. Because why else would you stab your surgeon to try to save your life and jump out of the hospital window, basically?
He's sick of this shit. He's like, I've had enough.
He's like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I think it would have been cool, which we know Nolan definitely took liberties with how he did his Two-Face in his movie, but it's kind of similar in a way. Well, I mean, not how he becomes Two-Face, but I mean the whole, he's in the hospital, which I wish they would have done something like they did in the movie where Gordon talks to him in the hospital, because I really like that scene in the movie.
I mean, Joker talks to him.
That's a great scene.
It was a good scene.
That's a great scene.
Yeah.
So after that happens, everybody's all disturbed, because you've got his wife is there, Gordon is there, and they just can't believe what's happened. They can't believe that he's escaped, that he actually stabbed the surgeon. They can't believe it. So well, we end this chapter with seeing Carla Vitti, and she's going through the corners. She's at the coroner's office, and she's going through the file cabinets, looking for something. Or we don't know what she's looking for, but she's looking for something. And while she's looking through the file cabinets for something, Holiday comes up, shoots her dead. And I'm thinking, what was she looking for? There had to be some reason why she was at the coroner's office. What were you looking for? So now, Carla Vitti is dead, Carmine's sister. So not only has he lost Milos, who was like his head security guy, then he loses Alberto, his son, then Johnny, which was his nephew, which probably didn't really care about Johnny either way.
Nobody cares about Johnny.
And then now he's lost his sister. Like, Carmine he's getting it hard in this story right now. You know, Maroney's only lost a few people. Well, and his father. I'm sorry, he did lose his father, so he got pretty hard hit too. But Carmine's been getting it real bad. So then we cut to chapter 12, Labor Day. It's a month later, and we come up with Harvey. He's in the sewer. And who's he talking to?
Solomon Grundy.
Talking to Solomon Grundy. And Grundy kind of... He's coming at Harvey like he's wanting to attack him, but he stops because Harvey starts doing the rhyme with him. Born on a Monday, all that stuff like that. So Grundy kind of just stops, and they kind of both go back and forth with the rhyme. So I guess Harvey kind of made him a friend there with Grundy. And it says it's about a month later. So has he been in the sewer for the whole month? I wonder, with Grundy.
I'd say that's probably where he escaped to from the hospital.
That's what I was thinking, because the way I took this was probably his first encounter with Grundy, possibly. So he's making buddies. I think he's starting to make buddies with some of these other villains. He's starting to make some buddies with them.
Well, if you're going to make friends with somebody, that's a good one to have.
Dude, Grundy's your muscle for sure. You know, because at this time, well, at least in this story, there's no Bane. So Grundy's your muscle in this story for sure, out of all the people that's there. Gordon and Batman, they're on the roof of the GCPD. They're talking about Harvey, and they're kind of finally considering maybe Harvey is Holiday. He's been living a double life. He's the DA by day and Holiday by night, possibly, doing these murders. And Gordon asks Batman, he says, how long have you thought about this? How long have you knew that this might be a possibility? But Batman says, I don't. He's like, I don't believe Harvey is Holiday. He's like, I don't believe it. And Gordon, I think Gordon still, I think he does at this time still kind of believes it possibly Dent could be, because of everything that's happened and everything. So Batman leaves Gordon and goes to question Carmine about where Harvey is. Why he would think Carmine would know, I have no idea, but I guess he's touching all of his bases, I guess, So he asks Carmine if he knows where Harvey is located. And Carmine tells him, he's like, how the hell should I know where Harvey is? He's like, I don't have a clue. And he says, I'm going to tell you something, Batman. He says, do you know what people in my inner circle have called this last year? And Batman kind of just looks at him. He's like, the Long Halloween. Name drop in the book.
Yeah.
And he says they've called it that because Johnny Vitti was the first victim and he died on Halloween. So basically, that Halloween has stretched over a whole year, even though we went through various holidays. People within Carmine's inner circles still called it the Long Halloween because it started on Halloween. It ain't ended yet.
No, you're still feeling the effects of it.
Batman stands there and looks at him for a minute, and then Batman just knocks him down and leaves. And then he sees Catwoman again. She's spying on him. And it's like, woman, you're just asking to get caught because you just pop up every time Batman's around him. Batman again, he asks her, he's like, why are you always around when I'm around Carmine? And she just looks at him and she had a little bit of an attitude. She's like, it's none of your damn business. I'll go where I want to go. I'll spy on who I want to spy on. I'm like, now look, you might need to give Batman a little bit of an explanation. I mean, come on, it's a little suspicious that you're always around when he's with Carmine or Gordon or Dent. But she's like, nah, ain't none of your damn business. So then Batman, and this was cool and spooky. Gilda goes down to the basement. We cut back to Harvey's house and his wife, Gilda, she goes down to the basement and Batman's he's already down there in the shadows. Kind of scares Gilda a little bit. and he wants to know if she knows where Harvey's at. I guess he thinks if anybody would know, it might be his wife. He tells her that there is evidence that points to him possibly being Holiday. And I think, and you kind of you see the look on her face. Bless her heart, she's went through a lot, with Harvey over these years with everything, All she wants is a family with him. She just wants a nice, cozy family with her husband, and she's not been able to get that because he's just been so headstrong into his case with Carmine. She's not been able to get that, And I guess it would be hard to be like some people were married to police officers and stuff like that. I guess that would be a hard life to have.
Oh, for sure.
To be the spouse of a cop or a spouse of a lawyer or something like that, because they're so focused on their work and it's dangerous work. So having a family probably wouldn't be the best thing.
Not ideal, because they're always going to be freaking out whether you're coming home or not.
Yeah, especially if you're married to like a police officer, they're always going to be like, well, that next phone call, unfortunately, could be a bad one.
Yeah, same with the military or anything.
So Batman goes back to Arkham Asylum and he visits Calendar Man again. And he says that Calendar Man, tells Batman that Maroni could be Holiday's next victim. Because I think even Calendar Man may think Harvey might be involved too, or he might be the Holiday killer. So Batman informs Gordon, because at this time, Sal's he's in jail because of what he done to Harvey. So Gordon gets the message from Batman, and he decides he's going to move Maroni from the jail, just in case something was to happen. Well, he decides to take him underground. I guess, I don't know if it's the sewers or if it's like some kind of underground tunnels. I'm assuming it was the sewers, I guess.
That's what it appeared to be to me.
Yeah, what he was traveling through.
Yeah.
So he's got one guy with him, this kind of right gear cop with him. It's him, Gordon, and Sal. That's all there is. That's moving him. Don't really know where he's moving him to. I guess maybe to a more secure prison, maybe.
Yeah.
I guess. So they're rolling through the tunnels and everything. And they come around the corner, and Maroni gets shot. And you see who it is. It's Holiday. Well, finally, we get a reveal of who Holiday is. And it is Alberto Falcone. And he's basically takes his hat off and he's like, I am Holiday. That is how we end chapter 12. And at that time, I'm like, what the hell?
Plot twist.
Yeah, exactly. Because, as we've seen in earlier chapters, he was one of the victims of Holiday.
Yeah,
then I remember back, there was no body because he fell overboard.
That was New Year's, right?
It was New Year's, yep. Yeah. On Carmine's yacht.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I thought back, I was like, wait a minute, there was no body.
No.
He went overboard.
It shows, was his mom coming?
Carla.
Outside the ship, and it shows the panel with her standing there and then the body not.
Yeah, no body.
Yeah.
I think it might have showed maybe blood in the water.
Did. Yeah.
But no body. So I'm like, son of a gun.
Never trust an off-screen death.
So we open on chapter 13, the final chapter of this great Batman story titled Punishment. And we're still in the sewers. And we just discovered that Alberto Falcone is Holiday. So after he shot Maroni, apparently shot him dead. After he shot Maroni, he attempts to shoot Gordon, but the right gear cop jumps in front of the bullets, so he takes all the bullets. Well, we find out that the right gear cop is Batman in disguise, which I should have figured that out because he was a pretty large fella, but I didn't think about it when I was first reading this, though. Which Alberto didn't know it either until he took off the helmet. So he stops Alberto from killing Gordon. And then we get to GCPD, and Alberto is, he's in the interrogation room, and Carmine shows up. And he visits his son, and he tells him, he's like, look, all you have to do, he said, don't say anything, just confess to killing Maroni, and I can get you out of here. I can fix it, you'll be fine. Just don't admit to any other murders but Maroni. Alberto doesn't want his help. He doesn't want his father's help. And
he's proud.
He's very proud. And we find out what's going on. He kind of stands up for the first time to Carmine. And he asks Carmine, he's like, Dad, do you even know when my birthday is? Carmine doesn't say anything. He looks at him, he's like, it's a holiday, but do you know which one it is? And he says, it's Valentine's Day. He says,
And this is Alberto saying this?
This is saying, I'm sorry, this is Alberto saying this to Carmine. He's basically letting us know that his whole life growing up, Carmine was never the father that he wanted him to be to him. That basically he was the one person in the family that Carmine kind of just shushed away and just kind of ignored. You know, Alberto, and you find out that Alberto actually would have benefited Carmine if he'd let him into the family business, if he let him into the illegal stuff, because Alberto's pretty damn smart. You know, but to come up with this situation, Alberto's pretty damn smart. So he tells Carmine, he's like, my birthday is Valentine's Day. He's like, but you would never know that. He said, because you were never around. He said, you were never around on my birthdays. He tells him, he says, now, look, Dad. He's like, I'm bigger than you and everybody else in organized crime in Gotham City. He's like, who is in the papers? Who is getting all the time, all the press time? It's like, it's me. He's like, I'm more important than you are now. He's like, look what I can do. And it's a sad moment, but I can understand why he would do it, because he's always felt unappreciated by his father. He's felt, in a way, I guess you can even say he felt disrespected by his father. Because if you go back and you think about this, once you see this and you go back and you look in some of the earlier issues before his death, in quotations, he's always trying to talk to Carmine about something, and Carmine just shushes him or just ignores him, says, oh, Alberto, you go do this, that we're talking business. And that's all Alberto ever wanted. He just wanted his dad to see him as somebody that was capable of working with his father in the family business, but Carmine never saw that. For whatever reason, it was always Sophia, the daughter. He always saw more of her capabilities than Alberto's.
He just wants to be acknowledged.
He does. He just wants to be acknowledged, be respected. He wants to be loved. I think he never felt that he was ever loved either by Carmine. We leave that situation for a few minutes, and we cut back to Arkham Asylum, and Harvey's there. Or I'm just going to go ahead and call him Two-Face. That's basically what he is now. I'm going to basically call him Two-Face. He's releasing all of the supervillains from Arkham Asylum except for Calendar Man. I felt bad for poor Calendar Man.
All right, we need to stop right here, because Calendar Man has got the shift this whole book.
Yeah.
Nobody likes Calendar Man. And he's like, dude, I could help.
Yeah. I mean, you look at you can see he's got this sad look on his face. He's looking up, you know, like a dog at the pet store. He's like, take me with you.
Yeah. I felt so bad for him.
I did too, and I chuckled when I read it. But I did feel bad, because technically he wasn't wrong.
Nope.
When he was telling Batman,
everything he said was true.
When he was telling Batman and Gordon stuff, it wasn't wrong. And so Harvey just like, bye, Felicia.
Yeah, that's basically what happened.
I'm letting everybody else out. So we cut to Carmine's penthouse, and all of the villains, minus Calendar Man, are at Carmine's home. It's a great picture too.
It is. That's one of the best panels in the whole book. Oh my God.
It's a great, again, you know.
Because that was a splash page, wasn't it? Like a 2-page thing?
It was.
Yeah.
Again, you know, Sale's artwork was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Because you've got all of them. You've got Scarecrow, you've got Mad Hatter, you've got Joker, you've got Catwoman, you've got Ivy, of course, you've got Two-Face, you've got Grundy. They're all there. And of course, Harvey stopped and got him a suit. You know,
you got to dress the part, man.
And I love how Sale draws him as Two-Face.
Yeah.
It's not smooth. He definitely was able to capture the chemical burn or whatever it was that he got through in his face, where it was acid or whatever it was. He definitely was able to capture that burnt skin. You know what I'm saying? Not Freddy Krueger burnt skin, but it was gruesome to look at. So they're all there because they're going to take out Carmine. They're basically all there. And I don't know. I think I get why he released all of them, as kind of the whole fear thing and stuff like that. But I think I would have liked to have seen it better if Harvey had just done it by himself. If he just showed up by himself, I think.
Or at least had them all in the shadows, him talking to him, and then if you need them to come out, they slowly pop out.
Yeah, because Harvey's been on Carmine's ass for years now, trying to get him for something. I think it would just have been a little bit more... I mean, he still gets satisfaction, but I think it still would have been a little bit more personal satisfaction if he had been able to do it by himself. But again, physically, I don't know if Harvey would have been able to take on Batman, because as we see here, Batman does show up to stop it from happening. And of course, and then Catwoman helps him out. She's helping out a little bit. But yeah, Batman shows up and he stops all the other supervillains. He's taking them all out, except for Harvey. Harvey gets away and he's grabbed Carmine as a hostage and says that he's Two-Face now. He's not Harvey no more. He's Two-Face, so he's fully embraced his new supervillain identity. And Batman's trying to talk to him, keep him from killing Carmine. And he's telling Harvey, he's like, look, you don't want to do this. You don't want to become what Carmine is. You don't want to become what you've been trying to fight for all these years. Don't do any good. Two-Face don't listen. Two-Face double taps Carmine in the head. Bang, bang. Shoots him in the head twice. And I was really surprised.
I was too. I was like, holy shit, they just killed him.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, we kill Sal Maroni and we kill Carmine Falcone in this one comic book in 1996. I'm like, so did they redo that and bring them back, I wonder, in later years? Or
We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I don't know. But that really surprised me.
Yeah.
You got your two main mob bosses dead in this comic book. So Sophia, she's there and she goes after Harvey, but Catwoman stops her. They both crash through the window of the penthouse, and they are out on the ledge, and Sophia and Catwoman both go over to the ledge, but Catwoman kind of captures her, but she can't hang on, so Sophia falls, and I'm guessing she fell to her death. It didn't show it just showed her fall from the penthouse, but I'm guessing she hit the street.
I would assume so.
I'm guessing that lady went splat. So Harvey gets away, and he kills Vernon for helping Maroni, which I'm glad. That one made me happy. I was happy to see Vernon finally get his comeuppance on that one, because he turned on Harvey. Harvey thought he was a loyal person, and find out, of course, money talks, so Maroni's money was able to get him to turn on Harvey, and basically he cost Harvey everything, in a way. He really did.
Yeah.
So that one made me happy when he killed Vernon. So then we get to the GCPD, and the bat signal has been activated, and it's Harvey. He's activated the bat signal to contact Batman, and he tells me, he's like, I've killed twice tonight. He says, I did what needed to be done for now. I'm like, ooh, for now. And he says to Batman, he says, the long Halloween is now over. It's done. Batman tells him that they'll get him help, that there's still a chance for Harvey to atone for what's happened, what he's done. Harvey doesn't want help, though. I think you can just kind of tell it. I don't think Harvey wants help. And Harvey looks at him. He's like, you're the ones who are going to need help from now on. I'm like, you son of a gun.
He's full-blown villain.
He's arrested. And as he's being taken away, he says, you know that there were 2 holiday killers. I'm like, son of a bitch. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, okay, Alberto claimed that he was Holiday. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, that's one. And then I guess I assumed Harvey's talking about himself.
And that's what Gordon assumes, or no, that's what Batman assumes too.
Yeah, because Gordon is confused.
Yeah.
Gordon, he looks at Batman, he's confused. He's like, huh? Why do you say that? And Batman tells him, he says, he's obsessed with the number 2. And he says, he did kill on Halloween, so he is Holiday as well. That's what Batman thought. But then we find out, and this took me for a loop. I didn't expect this.
I had to reread this.
I did too. I actually read this, I think, twice.
Yeah.
Before I handed it back off to you, I had to read this twice. I'm like, am I reading this right? Is this a dream sequence or something? So Batman asks if losing Harvey was worth he's asking Gordon this. Batman's asking Gordon if the price of losing Harvey Dent was worth taking down Carmine. And Gordon says, well, he says the good guys did win, but we really won't know if it's been worth it for a long time to come. I have to say, no, it wasn't worth it, because you lost which granted, Harvey was already a little bit broken anyway, but I don't think it was worth it, because Harvey was probably the best district attorney Gotham City ever had. Most honest one probably.
But you got two crime families taken out.
You did get two. Well, yeah, you did get two crime families taken out. That is true, but at the cost of a man's sanity and
What man's sanity? Or like the hundreds of crimes to be committed.
I'm just Our final panels, as we wrap up this amazing story, we cut to Harvey's home, and we cut to the basement, and Gilda is at the furnace. She is burning some stuff, and we're not really sure what she's burning just at this moment. We're not really sure. And then we find out that she's burning evidence of the Holiday killer. And we find out she also was killing. She was Holiday as well.
She was the original Holiday.
She was the original
So
Holiday.
basically, she killed everybody except for the main Falcone at the end that Two-Face killed.
Yeah, and Sal, because Alberto killed Sal Maroni.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
He was just playing Holiday.
Yeah, he was just playing Holiday. Yeah, he wanted the attention. That's why he did it.
That's all he wanted, yeah.
So yeah, she was the original Holiday killer. She killed Johnny Vitti. She killed the Irish gang. She killed Milos. And she says that, and this is an inner monologue that she's having with herself because she's by herself. She's alone. She says that Harvey shot Alberto. She believes that he's the one who shot Alberto because when he came home that night, his hair was wet. And he says, oh, I was just out. But she's like, but you were wearing a hat. How's your hair going to be wet when you're wearing a hat? Because it was snowing. Snowing or raining. I forget which one it was now. Because I remember that she asked him, she's like, well, you're wet. Your hair is wet. Mm-hmm. But she's like, you were wearing a hat. So her inner monologue is that she says that Harvey was the one that shot Alberto. So I guess maybe he did get killed. He did get shot, but he just didn't die from it, I guess.
See, I was torn between that or if Alberto faked it.
See, I originally thought he faked it until she heard
that panel.
Yeah, till that panel, and I wasn't too sure. And then because she also says that she found that gun in the basement.
Yeah.
Why would he have the gun? That's why she believes he shot Alberto, because she did find that gun in the basement. She knows it wasn't her gun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So. And she says that she says that Harvey picked up where she left off so they could have time together. So she's saying, I don't think she's saying Harvey knew she was the killer.
No. She's just saying they had the same motive.
They had the same motives, yeah. That he had picked up where she left off so they could have time together, try to have a child, and to basically share a secret between them, not knowing they were sharing a secret.
Yeah.
But as far as everybody else is concerned, Alberto is the Holiday killer. That's where it's going to stay. It's going to stay. And Alberto has no problem with that.
No, he's cool with it.
He's going to let it go. He'll confess to every damn murder there is. Because in his mind, it makes him more popular than Daddy. Even though Daddy's dead.
Yeah.
He's probably the only Falcone left, I guess, now, isn't he?
He is.
Because Carmine got killed by Two-Face. Sophia fell to her death, we're assuming. Which Carla's a VT. So yeah, I guess he might be the only Falcone left in the family. That's basically how we end it. We find out that Gilda, Harvey's wife, was the Holiday killer. And her motivation... And which, some of Harvey's too, I guess it was if she killed the Falcones, that Harvey would not be so focused on his work and he would have time off to focus on their family and focus on trying to build a family and have children. Misguided.
Hey, but she meant it from the heart.
Damn if I can disagree with that one. She did. That was her whole motivation, was family. That's why she did all these killings, to try to basically give Harvey free time. So we wrap it up with a final line from Gilda as she's burning the evidence, and she says, I believe in Harvey Dent. And that is how we wrap up Batman: The Long Halloween from 1996 by Jeph Loeb and Tim Sale. Sean, I love this, man.
It's a great book, ain't it?
I love
Yeah.
this, man. I never read this before the podcast.
I had and I forgot every bit of that, and I'm like, it's still my top 3 of Batman books for sure.
It had to be my top period because I've not read very much Batman at all, except for like I said in an earlier episode, the New 52 and a little bit of when he got his back broke in the 90s. I didn't finish all that, but I remember
we
reading a little bit
covered
of
the
that.
Killing Joke though.
Oh, in the Killing Joke, that's true. So, man, that's a tie, I guess. I guess the Killing Joke would have to be a tie with this, I think.
Oh yes, wait, we got more to come too. All right, so yeah, I would say highly recommend. And if you want to check it out, if you want the single issues, they're going to run you about $50 to $100 a piece.
I believe it, man. I believe it.
If you want the paperback, it's your standard 15 to 25, depending.
I love how the paperback collections are a lot cheaper than your single issues.
Gives us poorer people a chance to read some of the biggest stories.
Oh yeah, I'm not complaining about it at all. I'm really glad that the companies do that.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
they do give you that option of having a full collection of a story at a more affordable price than the individual stuff, for sure.
And I'll pull up some information here.
For sure.
So this ain't actually the beginning of the story. Jeph Loeb and Tim Sale worked on these Legends of the Dark Knight Halloween specials.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of like a prequel to this.
Okay.
And then DC's like, hey, you guys want to work on another Batman thing? They're like, yeah, cool. So they did this. And then there's a sequel called Dark Victory. And then another sequel called Catwoman When in Rome. Both those sequels take place at the same time. And then there's a third sequel they just started releasing, The Long Halloween 3, which I'm starting to get right now.
Okay. I've seen some solicitations from you and I think Vampiro about some of that new Long Halloween stuff. Yeah.
Which it doesn't have Tim Sale in the newest one because he passed away a couple years ago.
Yeah. Sad,
But
man.
it's a tribute to him.
What is this? Judgment Day.
We can go to questions if you like.
Sure. Let's see. I think I've got one on our Discord here, real briefly, if I can find it now. Where did I go? Come on, Daniel. Here we go. Oh, real quick. This has to do with a previous issue that we read when Batman is interrogating the Mink, Mickey the Mink, about the whole nail situation and the serial numbers. Even the Vampiro, he looked it up before I had a chance to, but I looked it up as well. Nails don't got serial numbers on them.
Jeph Loeb, you fucked up.
Batman lied to Mickey the Mink. Me and Vampiro both looked this up. Nails do not have serial numbers on them. At least the nails that we own at our home. There might be nails somewhere, but ours do not have serial numbers on it.
So basically, he was just feeding him lies to kind of make him tell the truth.
So.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I think he was feeding him lies to it. Yeah. So yeah, we've got one here from Ranger64 on our Discord.
Ranger.
His question is, what is your favorite animated Batman movie or animated iteration other than the 1990s Batman the Animated Series?
Oh, this is easy. Under the Red Hood.
For your movie?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have maybe another version, or is that going to be your thing, just the movie?
As far as another anime series?
Yeah. I mean, it's an and/or question either way. So
I haven't watched many animated Batman things because I didn't get to watch Batman Beyond very much.
I think it's the only other one I watched besides the Batman the Animated Series.
Was there the new animated series? Was that one?
Yeah, it's like the New Adventures of Batman and Robin or something when it went to CW.
I didn't get that.
I didn't watch any of that.
So yeah, just his stuff in Justice League and.
Yeah, and the Justice League stuff was pretty good.
Yeah.
I like that one.
But it still counts as a 90s series as far as
I guess it kind
Same
of does.
version.
Yeah.
What about you?
For me, the movie would. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. The movie would have to be Under the Red Hood. That's an amazing movie. You've got, I think it's Jensen Ackles plays Red Hood, I believe.
Yeah, I got him to sign that.
Because people's even been online been saying that he would be a great new live action Batman.
Well, he was coming back to voice him again.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh,
He actually announced it at that place I got it signed or whatever.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
TV show, I would have to say Batman Beyond. That's the only other animated series I've ever seen besides the original one with Kevin Conroy, which Kevin Conroy was in that when he played an older version of Bruce Wayne. I love Batman Beyond. And if anybody out there, if you want to watch that, I know Walmart has the full series on DVD for like $25, so it's very affordable if you want to get it.
For us old timers, the guy that played the younger Batman was the dude from Boy Meets World.
Yeah, he played Eric, the older brother. Yeah, Feeny.
Yeah, he retired from live action to go into voice acting.
Yeah, and he also played the 2011 version of Lion-O in the Thundercats series that was on Cartoon Network as well. And he's done a lot of other things.
Oh, yeah.
Of voice acting, I'm sure. Them just the two main ones that I know of. Do you have any? I think that's all that I have. Do you have any questions?
Right. So we're covering Halloween, and Halloween, as of this recording, is tomorrow.
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
All right. So I got a question from Cheyenne.
Okay.
And her question is, what is your favorite horror movie that doesn't rely on jump scares?
That's like the horror genre in general.
Well, I'll give her examples.
Okay.
Hers was The Exorcist, It Follows, and the first Halloween. So.
I have to kind of disagree with It Follows. I've watched that movie. At least for me personally, it kind of had a couple of jump scares to me.
It doesn't rely on jump scares.
Oh, it doesn't rely on jump scares.
Yeah.
That's true. Oh, son of a gun. I don't know. What's your range? Let me think about it for a second on that one.
If it counts, mine would be Evil Dead or Halloween. Does Evil Dead really count as a horror movie?
Horror comedy. Well, the first one is kind of more serious.
Yeah.
The second one, it gets into the horror comedy
like
elements.
before it goes full Army of Darkness and all that stuff.
The second one, it gets into the horror comedy by the second movie, yeah. So I consider it horror, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially the first one.
Well, those are my two.
And then you said Halloween, the original 1978 Halloween?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't remember having a lot of jump scares. Do you?
Not really. The music kind of was what kind of gave you the anxiety of it, yeah. For me, damn, it doesn't rely on jump scares. Nightmare on Elm Street. I've watched those so many times. I don't think really Freddy depends on jump scares in those movies. I don't think.
What would be your pick of the nightmares?
I gotta pick them. I love all of them. Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors.
Yeah, you kind of have to.
Yeah, I mean, I love all of them, but yeah, except for New Nightmare. I don't like the meta one that much. It's okay, but
yeah. All right, and part B of this is which horror movie has the best soundtrack?
Probably Halloween.
All right, so if we're going like the ambience, like the mood and all that stuff, Halloween has to be it.
Yeah.
But if we're going full soundtrack, I'm a metal guy. Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah.
Every day.
That's that 2000s
like new metal, like
for sure, yeah.
So yeah, that's
honestly, that when it comes to stuff like that, I'm kind of lost on that one. When it comes to the soundtracks and the music and stuff. I do know, I think it was Dream Warriors. Was that not the one that Dawkins did the main song, like Dream Warriors, I believe?
it sounds right, but I can't confirm
I
it.
think it was Dawkins, I think. But yeah.
All right. We asked a bunch of people on our Facebook like their favorite scary movie or
what was their
movie.
favorite horror movie? Yeah, and we got a lot of responses. We really appreciate that. Thank you guys so much for that one. God, we had 40, 50 responses, I guess, or something like that. We had a lot.
So we'll just read off a couple.
Yeah, we'll just read off a couple of them here. Not going to name anybody. We're just going to go through the movies. We had one person say Evil Dead 2, like you were saying about Evil Dead, and it basically says, because Bruce Campbell.
Well,
Period.
who can argue that?
We also had Return of the Living Dead. I love that movie. That one falls into the horror comedy, I think. It was 1984, 85 when that came out, I believe it was. It's a really good movie. If nobody's ever watched Return of the Living, just the first one, I will say. The sequels aren't so good. They're not that well. We also had someone mention Godzilla -1.
Is that a horror movie?
No, it's not a horror movie, but I will say Godzilla is damn scary in that movie.
I know who's in that comment. That was our buddy Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I agree with him. It's probably the scariest Godzilla's ever been in a movie. It's not considered horror, no, but if you look at Godzilla and the way that they did his eyes, they give him almost human-looking eyes. It's the scariest I've ever seen Godzilla. I've watched all those movies. See here, a couple more. We have Dog Soldiers, which is a werewolf movie. I think it's British or Australian, I forget. I'll get shot for not remembering exactly which one it is. It's either British or Australian, I don't remember. But it's a great movie. It's a great werewolf movie. I loved it. Then we had someone mention the Saw franchise, which I watched 5 of those movies. I don't know if you ever seen any of them or not.
The first one.
The first one
Mm-hmm.
had Carrie Elways was in that one from Princess Bride, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And was it Danny Glover? No.
Yeah, Danny
Yeah.
Glover. He was a cop. It was in a couple of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Saw franchise is not too bad. Again, it's one of those things. It's even going, still going now. I think they just did what, 10th one, 11th one, or something like that, I believe. And then here's somebody it's of my own heart, the Terrifier movies. I still need to watch that 3rd one of these days.
Well, Cheyenne, the person who sent that question, said it's awesome.
A couple more real quick. Jeepers Creepers. I've seen only the first movie in that one. Pretty good movie. I like that franchise. The Scream franchise. I've only seen 3 of those, and I liked them. I thought the Screams were pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, Wes Craven went from Nightmare on Elm Street to Scream franchise, so another great franchise. And they're kind of meta movies in a way.
Yeah.
Especially with one of the characters in there always like, these are the rules of a horror movie. Never say you'll be right back.
Yeah.
Halloween, as you said.
Classic.
Last, we'll drop off here with Trick or Treat.
Wow.
Don't know which one they're talking about. I don't know if they're talking about.
I think the one with Ozzy and
Is it one with Sammy Kerr?
I think so.
The one from the 80s? Because
Yeah.
I know they did that one that had the little boy
I don't know
creature.
about that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say that one, that Sammy Kerr one's a good one. I like that one. It's a good movie. And a buddy of mine, a fellow podcaster, Charlie Chase, said Christine, Stephen King's Christine.
That's a good one.
He said it was the only horror movie his dad would let him watch because his dad don't like horror movies. Yeah, Christine's pretty good. I haven't seen it forever. That's something I need to touch back on. So,
I will say, it's not a horror movie, but the movie I usually watch every year
Mm-hmm.
is The Crow. Because it takes place on Halloween.
it might have been Charlie's podcast, Give Me Back My Horror Movies. They covered it, but I think one of the hosts on there said, this is not a horror movie.
It's not a horror movie.
Yeah.
It's a comic book movie.
Even though it takes place, well, the murder takes place on the day before Halloween.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
Devil's
it's not.
Night.
Yeah, it's an action movie, action drama movie. And I'm going to give one more shout out here. Excuse me, 2 more. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, 1974.
It's a good one.
That one is kind of jump scary. I'll give it that on that one. And Nightbreed, Clive Barker's Nightbreed. I don't know if I'd classify that. Yeah. It'd be some body horror. That one is
Like
for sure.
gory horror.
Yeah, because if you know anything about Clive Barker, he also is one who created Hellraiser, Pinhead and stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, we really appreciate it. We got so many responses from a lot of our listeners and people who know Sean in the music community. We love that. We appreciate that. That's what we feed on is all the audience interaction. We love it. It's not a requirement, but we love having it though. Whether it's on Facebook.
Oh, it's a requirement. Get your asses in gear.
Yeah, Vampiro. No, I was kidding. But yeah, whether it's the Facebook page, it's the Instagram, it's the Discord, it's the YouTube comments. Definitely, guys, get out there and get on all the podcast platforms. Give us those 5-star ratings. Like Sean said before, don't gotta be a positive comment. Just give us some 5-star ratings. So.
All right, Dan. I'm a person that wants to send you a message.
You're a person.
That's what I've been told.
Okay.
I've been called a lot worse, though. So, how I'm going to do that is I'm going to go to geekswithbeardspod@gmail.com. I'm going to put in a fancy subject.
Okay.
I'm going to put in a sexy body in that email, and I'm going to pop it right over to you to read on our next episode.
You're popping the sexy body or the message over to me?
Both.
But Christmas comes early for Dan. Yeah, our email is a great way to communicate with us. Our Discord is another great way to keep in contact with us. I think besides Facebook, we're probably the most active on our Discord.
Yeah,
I think.
and you can find the Discord link on all of our socials, and I'll put it in the podcast description when we release this.
Yep.
All right, so the question is now, what are we covering next?
I went back and forth on this, and it's something I don't know if you've ever heard of. You possibly have. Unfortunately, only own one paperback, which is just the first 5 issues, the first story arc. And we're going to jump over to Image Comics.
Ooh.
It is a book a character co-created by Robert Kirkman and Todd McFarlane called Haunt. Haunt. And it ran from 2009 to 2012 for, I believe it's 30 to 31 issues. Like I said before, I only have the first paperback, which covers the first 5 issues, which is the first story arc. So it is a complete story arc. I wanted to make sure of that before I brought it in. I didn't want to leave us on some kind of cliffhanger we might not ever get any resolution on. It's great. The art is done by Capullo. He does some of the art.
That's cool.
So
Him and McFarlane work a lot together.
yeah. And I think Todd did some of the inks in it too. I don't know if he drew anything, but I think he did some of the inking in it, I believe. So yeah, that's going to be our next episode, episode 12. We're going to be covering Image Comics Haunt, the first 5 issues. And I think that's where we'll leave it off at. And I hope everybody has enjoyed these 3 episodes covering Batman The Long Halloween. This was a labor of love. It was the best Batman story besides, Killing Joke that I think I've ever personally read. So
It's our first listener request. So
It is.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Siege, for that as our first listener request. Please give us some more, and if we can, we'll definitely get to some more listener requests for sure.
That's our challenge. We want a story that neither one of us has read.
That's true. That might be a little harder for you because you've read a lot more comic books than I have.
True. I'm sure our listeners can help us out.
I was going to say, for sure, yeah. All right, guys. We'll catch you on the next episode, and hope everybody has a happy Halloween, a safe Halloween, and here's to the next long Halloween. Have a good one, guys.
Boo!
Geeks with beards. Geeks with beards. Look who's here. Geeks with beards. No need to fear. We're right here. We got beards. So listen clear. Geeks with beards. Geeks with beards. Look who's here. Geeks with beards. No need to fear. We're right here. I'm in your ear. So listen clear, no one else doing it like us. Also, we just might cuss, just cuz. No, we ain't playing, and we're just saying, and we're making a podcast. It's called
Take 2. Damn it. I jumped ahead of myself. Forced me not be able to find nothing because Dan can't find anything. You hush. Here we go.
Do,
Okay.
do, 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 do.
Boom, 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 boom.